super excited.
I've got my gorgeous baby daughter, Audrey. Gotta go, Otis!
Have you seen this viral video of Tim McGraw's daughter, Audrey? Now, I'm a big fan of Tim and his wife, Faith Hill, and I thought it was crazy enough to have two country legends in one family.
Games on the tube and daddy smokes cigarettes, whiskey.
But shoot, now it turns out there might be a rising third superstar to add to the mix. That's right, Audrey McGraw, Tim and Faith's youngest daughter. And she is now in the headlines for her stunning vocal and piano performances. And just to catch you up, just take a listen and a look at this stunning performance. But if you're thinking this is just a one video wonder, just a viral blip, I don't believe you could be more wrong here. As Audrey is certainly on her way to becoming a musical superstar in her own right. So all aboard, let's get in early on this hype train and get to know Audrey before she's playing on your radio. Stay tuned because we're going to see what's going on with the McGraw family. But before we begin, remember to give this video a thumbs up if you don't mind, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Are you ready?
Oh, hell yeah!
Well, let's go find out.
What happened?
The fantastic McGraw family. Now, Tim McGraw has been known for his rowdiness in the past. Who could forget the time he and Kenny Chesney were arrested and jailed for stealing a police horse? Well, kinda. And we do have a video about this if you want to learn a little more about that historic gallop. But despite his past missteps, Tim and his wife, country legend Faith Hill, have made a pleasant, quiet life together somehow. Some of that quiet life is spent in their stunning home in the Bahamas, but they spend most of their time where else? Nashville. To put a cherry on top, they've been blessed by several beautiful, talented daughters, and they're known for being some of the most supportive and amazing parents in Nashville. Hell, in the world, okay? We love Tim and Faith Hill here. But now we're learning that their daughters are certainly following their parents' impressive footsteps. In fact, I can't think of many families with as much star power as the McGraws. And what's pretty admirable is that they're not content to sit around the mansion in the Bahamas and drink wine coolers, fanning themselves with $100 bills. Because that is definitely what I would be doing. But as we learned, each McGraw is taking their own path and awing people wherever they go. Let's start with Gracie McGraw, Tim's eldest daughter. Gracie had a pretty uneventful childhood growing up in Nashville, but when she decided to leave the nest, she decided to go somewhere about as different from Nashville as she could get, New York City. But Gracie had good reason to leave beautiful Nashville behind for the rat-ridden Big Apple. She got a gig performing on Broadway as part of the acclaimed Broadway Sings series. There is one dark note to Gracie's tenure on the show, as she's criticized the corrupt Broadway over unclear reasons. But Gracie seems to be doing fine otherwise, and she's got a surprise pal with her in New York. Keep watching to find out. Next up is the second daughter, Maggie. Now Maggie is more of a free spirit than her sisters. She currently has zero interest in pursuing a performing career and spends most of her free time diving in some of the most beautiful locations on earth. But we can't say she's not musical, because when she was at Stanford, where she earned a master's degree, she was a part of a kick-ass band. But we're just not sure music is gonna be part of her life. Finally, of course, comes Audrey, the youngest daughter. Awesome Audrey. Even if you're a super fan of Tim or Faith, it's pretty likely that you don't know too much about Audrey. So let's get us all up to speed. Audrey was born on December 6th, 2001. She was born prematurely, and Tim and Faith spent countless hours at the ICU, praying that their baby would pull through. Fortunately for them and us, she did. To this day, the family keeps a special tradition to celebrate that Christmas miracle. They decorate their tree on December 6th and keep it alive for the whole month of December, which I don't think is too different from most of us, but moving on. From a young age, Audrey gained recognition for her special musical talent. With support from her dad, Audrey was able to hone her voice and skills to an expert level quite quickly. In fact, although Audrey is only now starting to get buzz for her talent, it isn't technically the first time she's dipped her toe into the world of music. If you're a fan of Tim McGraw, you've probably heard her without realizing it. Just watch the video for 2007's Last Dollar Fly Away, and Audrey and her sister can be heard singing the chorus of the song in the last few seconds.
I'm so glad you're here today, 'cause tomorrow...
Perhaps more significantly, by the time she was 12, she was already opening for her dad, serving up beautiful acoustic sets that touched the hearts of every audience member. But music wasn't the only thing that attracted Audrey. When she graduated high school, she decided to try her hand at modeling first. She moved out to LA to learn those skills, but modeling doesn't seem to be a forever job for her. And frankly, I think that's a good thing. Not because I don't think she's beautiful, but because I don't think the world should be deprived of her natural musical talent. So today we have Audrey living in New York alongside her sister Grace. And it's really pretty cool. The two frequently hang out and support each other, which must be important in such a cold, unforgiving city, so different and far from home. Audrey, who previously lived a reserved private life, is now blossoming in the big city and is actually embracing the public eye a bit more too. She frequently posts updates on Instagram and is now attracting a fan base of her own. And she's also using her platform to speak out about issues that are personally important to her. For example, she made an impassioned personal post about her struggles with birth control. The medication, she said, is often pushed upon young women like her who fully don't understand the myriad of effects. So it appears that Audrey isn't just talented, she's passionate about what she believes in. And she wishes to use her platform to help people. Big shoes to fill. Now, as heartwarming it is to see a daughter follow her parents' footsteps, I initially worried that Audrey might have the same problem that the talented kids of many famous performers have, that they won't be able to escape their parents' towering shadows. You know, look at Hank Williams Jr. Before he made a name for himself, Hank found that what people wanted him to be was just a carbon copy of his dad. Now, Audrey's dilemma is even worse. She doesn't just have one famous parent, she has two. Is it even possible for her to ever live down her own truth? Or is she destined to be a lifetime of imitation? We can't be sure, of course, but I do think there's good reason to believe that Audrey is her own gal. And I don't think she's okay with being pigeonholed as a famous kid. One reason is that while she shows love for her parents' musical pedigrees, Audrey's interests are much wider ranging and not limited to Nashville country. For example, Audrey won praise for her stunning cover of Fire and Ice by Pat Benatar, which is a far cry from Humble and Kind. She's also covered tracks by Brandi Carlile and esteemed singer-songwriter, and The Main Squeeze, which is a hip funk outfit. So it's clear. Audrey will mostly live in the country folk range, but she sure has other interests. And she's not afraid to funk out. So while Nashville is the biggest country scene in the world, New York has other outlets, and is certainly a vibrant and bustling scene of its own. So I guarantee there is no holding Audrey back as she steps into the next stage of her life and career. It's a tough time to be an artist these days, and Audrey McGraw probably has it even harder than most. Not only does she have to make her mark on society, she also has to prove she's not just a lesser version of her parents. But Audrey's life experiences are very interesting, and maybe more interesting than her parents. For example, while her parents have settled down in a comfortable life, spending time with friends and fellow country singers, Audrey McGraw has taken the opportunity to explore life in other cities. You know, she spent time in LA and New York. And now that she's got both coasts under her belt, who knows what's next? Where is next? With raw talent like hers, it's unthinkable that she won't use all her experience to create some phenomenal music. But you know, I also don't want to make it seem like Audrey has to escape her family to create something on her own. And now I point to Willie Nelson and his sons. The most beautiful music they can create is together. Audrey is still great friends with her parents and sisters, and at the end of the day, her story is about the power that a strong American family can have and the amazing talent it can produce. So here's to Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and the beautiful daughters they've raised. I'm looking forward to the day that I can turn on the radio and hear the next generation of McGraws. All right, enough of me, now it's your turn. I want to hear what you think. Have you heard Audrey McGraw perform? Are you more of a Tim McGraw fan or Faith Hill? Did you see either of them perform live?
So I need you.
What's the best song to come out of this talented bunch? Get in the comments and tell me all. And if you enjoyed our family reunion, please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps. Subscribe to our channel and come back often so we can keep telling you.
I'm always in awe of her and her talent and her confidence that she has in herself.